Hello and welcome aboard, ladies and gentlemen. This is your host, Captain Kibbs, signing on today. And today we're going to be talking about Battletech Flashpoint, a new DLC announced for the Battletech game. So we finally have some new content. And let's take a quick look at what's going to be in it. So, the first ever Battletech expansion comes complete with 3 new mechs, including the highly anticipated Hatchet Man. That's the guy with the fucking depleted uranium hatchet that hacks mechs to little bits. A challenging new mission type, and a new tropical biome along with its featured namesake, Flashpoints, which Flashpoints are high-stakes branching short stories comprised of procedural mercenary missions linked together with new crew conversational special events, critical choices, and valuable rewards. To ramp up the intensity, some Flashpoint stories will feature consecutive deployments, in which players won't be able to repair their mechs between missions. So that's going to be very, very, very interesting to see how that works out. So basically, in the Battletech universe, you'll have, and if you're a regiment, sometimes you don't actually get to repair. And in some instances, you wouldn't be able to go back up to the ship. You wouldn't be able to be picked up by your Leopard dropship and return to the Argo, in this case, or your spherical dropship. So you'd have to continually hold the line or perform these tasks, break whatever siege or whatever it is, in order to go back and repair and resupply. This will make missions a little bit more dire, and unit preservation will be extremely important due to the fact that you have your mech warriors. You don't want to lose them, even though, flesh is cheap and metal isn't. And again, metal isn't. So you're going to want to balance your mechs in these kinds of missions. This adds a extra layer of tacticality to the mission, and you have to put a lot more thought into unit placement. This will force you to be a little bit more strategic in thinking, and this makes it very interesting. Also, in other terms, this expansion has no listed price yet, but imagine what the modder is going to do with the ability to, assuming that it's, easy to mod. The Roguetech mod already fleshes out Battletech and makes it more into the tabletop iteration, which is basically a huge mega upgrade to the Battletech game. So any mechanics that are implemented in these DLC packs will inevitably see their way probably to the Roguetech team or the other modders in the Nexus community. And these mods, things like this, things that add mechanics, are going to be instrumental in changing the fundamental principles of how the game plays. So just the mere idea of having branching stories and branching paths, opening up that little dynamic, will expand the amount of potential for mods immensely. One thing that will be interesting is it's also going to boil down to writing skill, and that's now that they have a different team of writers or different writers working on this game, it's going to be interesting to see how they're going to take it. And in one of the screenshots, let's see here, one of the screenshots, they actually talk a little bit about just the phraseology, I suppose, helps. So it's like, for instance, how Steiner has, in one of these Flashpoint missions, which expires, which they do expire, by the by, and they do tell you, whether there's bonus weapons, rare weapons, etc., etc. You got, who's the mission for, the usual run-of-the-mill stuff. Nothing overtly new there. House Steiner has constructed an unauthorized military stronghold inside of House Merrick's territorial borders, something that happens quite frequently in the Battletech universe, because they don't really recognize each other's borders so much on the planet of Calzarine. Force Commander Sin wants you to, now it's a peculiar name for, it's Americ, so it's to be expected. Free Worlds League is a little bit of a clusterfuck of cultures and ideologies, to enlist our aid in dealing with it. This will be a joint operation between ourselves and the Gwydin Company, a mercenary command from the Duchy of Tamarind. Together, we will mark the Op4 stronghold for artillery bombardment. So, this sounds interesting to me, because are we going to see additional forces and merc groups working together, or, working alongside in tandem with allied forces, like you'd see in a lot of things? This is very interesting, and I want to see this happen a lot more. I also would like, again, they did say that they're not going to expand the mech bay, but they should. I mean, if the Argo is able to field, a mech lance, and let's say, you got multiple dropships, because the Argo has multiple docking points to what it looks like on the model, there'd be multiple leopards able to dock with it. Also, the idea of being able to purchase different sort of dropships and expand your mercenary company to include an infantry regiment or division, and armored brigade, and basically aerospace fighters would be kind of handy, because merc groups grow, and as they grow from pissant little mercs, bearing in mind that we're a periphery merc company in the video game, so, you basically you're a pissant. You're literally nothing. The idea behind upgrading your mercenary company and building it into something, larger to become its own quote unquote division of force would be interesting, and to maybe have the ability to branch out and do multiple missions at the same time with different groups would be kind of interesting. Not to dilly-dally too much on hypotheticals and what could be. The idea of introducing more biomes is very handy. Basically, it's mostly cosmetic. There's not a whole heck of a lot of detail. I imagine the tropical biome will be much hotter, but with a lot more water to balance the heat. So it'll have its own flavor to it and aesthetic. The color palette for the tropical biome is quite nice. Very tropical, very light blues and greens and sands. What do you say, skull white sands. Make it look very nice. Make it look very crisp and clear. And more biomes would be handy. The more biomes, the better. Maybe some, sort of lava world biomes would be kind of handy in the future. Or some, what would you say? Not charisma, but corrosive environments. Christ. I don't know why I was struggling with that word for so long there. Would be also kind of handy. So the addition of biomes will make, the monotony of seeing the same worlds over and over again a little less monotonous. Go figure. But hopefully we'll see a lot more customability in towards the maps, like maybe a map editor or things of that nature to help edit and change things a little bit more. Now, there are 3 new battle mechs, which are very exciting. We got the big one, the one that was at the release, which was the Hatchet Man. It's basically got its main feature is a literal fucking hatchet on the side of it, or for one of its arms, which makes it very interesting. And I would like to see sync kills as the team expands, if possible. Not to go too much into hypotheticals. There's so much to discuss, and I don't want to get too dallied in that. There is a crab, which is like, the baby version of the king crab, as I like to say. You can now make a crab squad. Think about it. 3 crabs surrounded by a king crab. Or surrounded by a king crab. 3 crabs surrounding a king crab. That's kind of adorable. Adorkable. And Cyclops. Cyclops are really fucking cool. They've got you'll see in the picture I show you. But either way. And then there's a new encounter, target acquisition. And it's, just special sort of thing where you have to take control of 3 territories on the map to prevail. Now, it would be curious to see if they actually implement the mod like Wartech, where territories take and swapped lands. One thing from a lore standpoint is it's called Flashpoint, and it's also a Flashpoint in the lore. It's like a double blind, but, kind of retarded. But either way, don't worry about that. That's another Battletech joke. But basically, this is going to be the Flashpoint for the 4th Succession War, because Battletech, the video game, had taken place. A little bit about lore, not too much though, because I'm not sure how far they're going to go into it, and I don't want to spoil for the newbies, even though it's quite obvious what it could be. Basically, Battletech video game takes place right after the 3rd Succession War, so people are kind of recovering, and not too long after the 3rd Succession War, the 4th one's going to kick off. And the 4th one's going to be massive. There's going to be a lot of combat. And if Flashpoint is starting to build to it, are we going to see, that's another question. Are we going to see the expansions build into it? Will we unlock the Inner Sphere in the official release, unlike the Roguetech one, when they actually do the 4th Succession War? Because they're going to have to. The 4th Succession War is the Succession War. It's the successor states, the 5 major powers. House Merrick, House Dabian, House Steiner, House Liao, House Kirita. I almost said Steiner twice. Way to go. Maybe the love for Steiners, the double Ds, so to speak. Oh, God. That meme will never die. Either or. This is very interesting. We have no listed price. It's going to come out this fall, and we'll see how it's going to be. Other than that, I got to say I'm quite excited for it. I hope the price isn't too steep. We'll see again. But the unveiling of more mechs is going to be handy, and hopefully in the future, because they did already announce that they're going to make a second Battletech game, or they hinted at it, is that if you have the first game, kind of like how Dawn of War works, how the original Dawn of War, where if you had the first game, you got the factions from the first game. Well, I was thinking maybe you'll get the mechs from the Succession War, kind of like the technical readouts. If you own each expansion, it adds on to the next game, so to speak, and they sort of all build together. And the reason why Battletech has to do this is because Harebrained Schemes doesn't have a heck of a lot of money. Bear in mind, they did pick up the publisher Paradox Interactive. That's going to help them out dramatically in terms of publishing their video games. And so hopefully we'll see an improvement in quality of content and the increase in the updates. This is very exciting to see. I do hope multiplayer gets an overhaul, but I should make a hypothetical video. There's so much stuff I want to talk about that I'd like to be in the game, but currently isn't, and I think we'll just kind of wait until that happens. Either way, until then, ladies and gentlemen, have yourself a glorious day, and we look forward to covering the Flashpoint release. Until then, ta-ta for now.